get a sense here now. The sixth book is where everything hits the fans and hits the fan, and that's that kind of idea that you've got not only the Dark Lord's evil forces, but you've got some raging hormones. There's so much going on here. I don't know whether that was quite daunting or whether it was actually a great kind of thrill to be able to deal with so much.
I think it's good to have so much on the table, you know, because you can give the audience a fairly rich experience. You know, you get the hormones and the romance, and then you've got the core story of, can we uncover this secret that's going to defeat Voldemort? So you've got all of that. And what I liked about, I mean, it was fun in Order of the Phoenix, which is the previous Potter I did, to kind of follow a singular journey with Harry and really put all the pressure and focus on him as a character. And what was lovely about this one, conversely, was then to be able to kind of bounce it around the characters a wee bit, which is a very different rhythm of doing things. And I read the script, first of all, when I was on a plane going to Chicago for a test screening of Order of the Phoenix. And I thought actually what you said just then, I thought exactly the same thing. Can I do another term at Hogwarts? Can I, you know, will it be different? Will it be enough? And when I started reading it, I thought, yeah, it feels different. It's a different tonality. There's more humour. There's more, you know. So it didn't take me long to sort of think, yeah, this could be really much more playful, much more fun in a way, and a departure from what I did last time.
And it was always a case of you could choose, because I know Alfonso was keen to come back, and then you had people like Mike Newell, I think, was offered, and I don't know whether it's a case of you just hope they will ask you again, or whether they automatically, because you did so well with Order of the Phoenix, they say, would you like to do another one? Or
yeah, I'm not sure how the process works. It's a bit like choosing the Pope. You know, they go into a room and stuff, and then
a lot more followers on the Catholic Church.
Oh yeah, I know. They're not quite like that. I'm not sure how it works. All I know is I was doing Order of the Phoenix, and while I was editing it, even before the movie came out, we were having serious discussions about doing Half-Blood Prince, and I was on board prior to the movie coming out, pretty much. And you kind of read review, you suddenly hear someone's been offered it or someone else is doing it, and you go, no, I'm doing it. I wonder where they get all this information from. And it's sort of, most of it's conjecture and whatever. But I know Alfonso was keen to come back. I know Mike was keen to come back. But they couldn't get rid of me. I failed on.
But I'm wondering whether you still pinch yourself, because when you look at it, I mean, with State of Play and Sex Trafficking, the work you'd done before this was very much like in the area of, you know, The Guardian, and with these sort of people, just your work was very recognised as very serious, wonderful work, and it wouldn't be obvious to most people that this you could handle a blockbuster of this magnitude. And of course, smart directors are always the wise choice. But I don't know whether you yourself kind of feel that the size of this thing I'm driving, like 4.48 billion these 5 films have made so far, and these I think just might do well also.
Yeah. No, I'm sort of struck by that often. I never take it for granted. There's sort of David Heyman, who's the producer, Warner Brothers, the studio. I was as surprised as everybody when they asked me to come on board. So, and I'm really chuffed that they've asked me to stay and kept their faith in me to carry the rest of the series. And you have to ask them. You know, people often ask me why, you know, and I just go, look, they asked me, I enjoy doing it. The films have been doing quite well, and I'm still here. So I feel very privileged. I feel very lucky. I never take it for granted. I'm having a ball doing it, and I'll see it through to the end.
I suppose what some viewers are going to be surprised when they see this movie is how much of a romantic comedy is. You've said it yourself. There's that sort of element to it. There is quite a lot of that sort of romantic comedy traffic going through it, or quite that sort of genre kind of creeps in. And were there certain films that you advised the guys to kind of go look at, 50 Screwball, or I know you said yourself there were certain movies like American Graffiti. I think Ken Loach and David Lean and Scorsese were mentioned in one of the articles as sort of reference points for the film, but I don't know if that's true now. But
yeah, no, I love American Graffiti as a movie. The whole multi-stranded, multi-character. And I would never tell an actor to go and watch a movie. Just generally, I think it's not a bad idea to do that. But I'd much rather them come to the material, look at the book, and for us to create our own reality rather than get too influenced elsewhere. I get influenced by other movies, and I wouldn't want them to. But yeah, we kind of, you know what we did? We borrowed from our own lives, because that's what you do to bring any kind of truth or reality. You have to kind of talk about, well, what was your first kiss like, you know? And that's the kind of thing you lean on, rather than, wasn't that scene great in whatever? Yeah.
I should mention too that you did Warner's have been pretty much hands off, but they did sort of step in, and because the film was getting quite an arty look. I know that your cinematographer who did Amelie, his name is Bruno Del Bonell.
Yeah, Bruno Del Bonell. Yeah.
You know, and he was going for that monochrome kind of wash, and I don't know whether that was kind of like a disappointment to you that they kind of said, well, I'd like to pull it back to be more of a traditional look. Or
do you know what? It was a really good process. And it's a process where, a movie of this scale, it's a huge investment for the studio. It's a film that's seen all over the world by many different cultures, not just the European culture. So we had a look which we were very excited by. We thought it was terrific. And actually what was interesting about that look is that Bruno had slaved over it for months and months and months. Because it's Harry Potter, we have the privilege of having this incredibly impressive piece of kit, which is this digital grading equipment, and most movies get to play with it for a few months once they've finished shooting. We get to digitally grade every single day of the shoot and for months afterwards. It's a very privileged position to be in, and by his own admission, Bruno had graded it to pieces. Basically, he had gone in and then when the studio came back and said, well, you know what, guys, we're just a bit concerned that it feels heavy or whatever. There were two ways we could have responded to that. We could have said, it's not your business, this is a creative thing. And actually the studio didn't say make it lighter. They didn't say, they never were prescriptive in any sense. They were just really honest. They were quite sophisticated people at the studio, they're never, all those stories you read about the studio exec coming in, and they're actually really nuanced and sophisticated, intelligent people who have felt the success of the franchise is based on the filmmakers having some integrity about what they're doing. So they never came in and said, change the grade, make it lighter. They just said, well, quite frankly, we can't see some things, and they were really sweet about it and not heavy-handed in whatsoever. And Bruno and I went back with Peter Doyle, who's a key part of all of this, Peter Doyle, and we looked at it again and we said, you know what, maybe we could sort of take that soft wipe off there, maybe we could add a bit of colour there. And Bruno and Peter spent a week or two just lifting things here or there, taking off these soft wipes, and like a year of kind of, it's almost like if you paint something, you do it, you're trying to impress and you overdo it. And what we did ultimately, and what Bruno did and Peter, is simplify it a little bit. And Bruno said at the end of that process, we said, look, this is what we're going to do, this is what we're ready to do, the studio will either like it or not like it, then we'll fight, because we can't change, this is as far as we can go. And the studio saw the changes, absolutely loved them, and Bruno felt at the end of it, it's the best work he's done, because he suddenly realised it was over-mannered, I think. We just, you have all this gear and you overuse it, and he's very proud of the film now and the way it looks, and I'm very proud of the way it looks. We both think, it hasn't been Hollywoodized, it hasn't been Americanized, I think it's a very beautiful looking film. We just indulged ourselves, basically, and we got to a good place with the regrade that I think opened the film up to many cultures.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, it works great. Rock and roll. Well
Great,
done, son.
Okay.
Yeah.